I know a few good stories. They take place in a corner of America that might seem familiar, yet still manages to surprise. The settings are spectacular, the characters compelling, the action exciting, the plot lines unpredictable. I'm Tom Richardson. Join me as I explore New England's great outdoors, from Candlewood Lake, Connecticut to Caribou, Maine, from the beaches of Cape Cod to the peaks of New Hampshire's White Mountains. The stories are waiting. Let's live them on Explore New England. Explore New England is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, your local REI co-op. REI believes a life outside is fundamental to a life well lived. Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource. And visitnewengland.com. Additional funding and support for this episode provided by Bangor Savings Bank. One of the best parts about filming Explore New England is getting to know like-minded people who share a passion for the outdoors. However, in the case of Penobscot River Trails, a cross-country ski and snowshoeing center in the tiny town of Grindstone, Maine, the person responsible for its creation prefers to remain behind the scenes. Created by a mysterious philanthropist with a love of the outdoors, PRT opened in 2018 and features roughly 16 miles of groomed trails that wind along the east branch of the Penobscot River. In summer and fall, the same trails serve hikers, runners, and mountain bikers. There's also a convenient put-in spot for paddlers and fishermen. The best part is that the trails are free and open to the public.
So the Penobscot River Trail started with the whole mission behind getting people outside and getting people into new sports, getting them acclimated in a welcoming environment. And really what we offer here is we have the 16 miles of trails, and it's on about 4,600 acres of land. So we have crusher fine dust trails, and we offer mountain biking, cross-country skiing. We do, by kind of an appointment idea, offer kayaking and canoeing on the river. Penobscot River Trails was founded in initially like the 2017-2018 timeframe. The idea sparked much prior to that. Maine Outdoor Education Program started in 2012, which is kind of what solidified and put all of this into fruition to be moved over here. And we welcome school-age children. And again, we teach them the cross-country skiing, the mountain biking, paddling. So again, the overall idea of this is getting people outside in a welcoming environment, in a large space where we have equipment available and we accept donations, but everything is completely free.
The PRT system is ideal for beginners who want to learn the basics of cross-country skiing, as the single-track lanes keep you pointed in the right direction and allow you to concentrate on your form. More advanced skiers can get a workout on the wider, groomed skate ski lanes.
I started skate skiing in '82, so that's, 39 years ago? But back then I skate on these snowmobile trails, the only place we could skate. You know, I like the outdoors, I like the cold, I like to enjoy it, and hey, what else? Look, everything is clean. Good place to hide and enjoy. And it's very scenic. You follow the east branch of the Penobscot, you see the Mount Katahdin, the trails are well groomed. It's just, you know, I live local, and some weeks I'm here 4 times.
The basic classic cross-country ski take on this is that, you know, you have your skis on, you have your poles, and you kind of dip your poles down a little bit. Really, yeah, and you never really try to bring them like too much. Like, a lot of people can bring them up here, but that's a big no. We like to kind of not really bring it farther than our feet when we're just gliding. So you want to transition your pole with the opposite foot. So that's how you would ski, and you want to let your body kind of relax, which puts you into that natural athletic stance, so that your knees are like a little bit looser and you're forgiving yourself, and when you step forward, you're able to transition and you're just going. And you're lifting the back of your foot up. You want to always keep your ski planted on the ground and lift up that heel and really focus like mentally on like a 1, 2, 3. And that's just, you know, I don't say that to myself every time, but it really helps when you're starting off. Yes, you warm up very quickly.
And you have repeat skiers that come here like every day?
Yes, some people are very dedicated to coming out here just because of, you know, the vast amount of trails that we offer.
Yeah.
And the, you know, nice terrain, honestly. We have a little variety of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I lived up here, that's what I'd do for my daily workout.
Yeah, absolutely.
After skiing for a bit, we found ourselves at one of PRT's magnificent warming huts, which are worthy of a first-class resort. The huts offer a comfy place for skiers to rest and enjoy a cup of cocoa next to a roaring fire while soaking in the magnificent view of Mount Katahdin. So this is a warming hut?
Yes.
This is not a hut.
It's a palace, yeah, pretty much it's a palace.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful, and this specific warming hut is located around 9 miles out on the trail system if you were to take the tote road here. And then as you see, we have direct views of Katahdin, the tablelands, you can see Knife's Edge into the chimney. It's really spectacular. Yeah, so the table is right over there to the right-hand side, and as you see that little bowl shape, that's Chimney Pond.
Okay.
Inside of there. And then over here we have Pomola Peak.
Penobscot River Trails is currently managed by the New England Outdoor Center, headquartered in nearby Millinocket. NEOC has the trained staff to get skiers and snowshoers of all skill levels on the trails, but it also offers plenty of outdoors activities of its own. I would learn more about that soon enough. A few miles west of the Penobscot River Trails, in the town of Millinocket, is the New England Outdoor Center headquarters at Twin Pines Camps. NEOC was started by former rafting guide Matt Polstein in 1982. In 1995, Matt purchased a former sporting camp on the shores of Millinocket Lake and renamed it Twin Pines. He has since expanded the camp by adding more cabins and the acclaimed River Drivers Restaurant, which serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's widely considered one of the best restaurants in the Northern Maine woods, and I won't argue with that.
Well, I'm a Mainer, and went to a summer camp in Maine and learned to canoe and kayak. The camp was Camp Winona down in the Bridgeton area, and I canoed and kayaked rivers all over Maine and got to be a competitive kayaker. And so when I was in college, I was racing, and I took a job working for a whitewater rafting company as a way to keep myself in my boat and on the river. We started out as a whitewater rafting company. As rafting demand grew, we were operating on the Penobscot River, but also over in the Kennebec River in the towns of the Forks and the West Forks, which are very small towns, population 20, 30 people, no accommodations, no places for people to eat or stay. And so we started building amenities and have morphed into as much of a broad-based hospitality business now as an outdoor recreation company. We've seen a lot of growth in mountain biking and fat biking in the winter, and have a really nice cross-country ski facility here. Our location here is dominated by Katahdin, which is an incredible mountain. It's iconic to this area, and I would say if there's one disappointment I have, it's that I've only climbed that mountain twice in the 38 years I've done business on the river right below it. You know, Baxter and now our new national monument represent incredible resources that have you know, dozens, if not hundreds of beautiful places in them, and I don't find that I take the time to explore that area as much as I should. My play tends to be centered around my work. I groom snowmobile trails, I groom cross-country ski trails as much as I'm apt to be out, you know, recreating on them. Yeah, I should probably spend more time in the office, but with all the fun things to do outdoors, it's hard. You know, I can find a way to justify my outdoor work more easily than my office work.
NEOC offers a host of guided and non-guided activities year-round, from either its Twin Pines location or NEOC's campground just outside Baxter State Park.
This is a really special area. Recreationally in the summer, we're a jumping off point for the whole of the North Maine woods. We share that reputation with Greenville, but Right here in the Katahdin region, we've got world-class whitewater on the west branch of the Penobscot. We've got an incredible natural landlocked salmon fishery. There's great brook trout fishing in Baxter State Park. With our new national monument and Baxter, there are hundreds of miles of hiking trails in this area. So really, we offer great recreation summer and winter.
In winter, Twin Pines maintains groomed cross-country ski and snowshoe trails on its property, as well as fat bike trails, although riders are welcome to simply take off across the frozen lake if conditions allow.
And then snowmobiling has always been a huge hit in this area. I think both for the scenery and the fact that our trails are on big old logging roads, so they're reliable and we can get on them early season without a lot of snow and keep them in good shape.
Guests and day trippers can rent machines and gear at the Snowmobile Center just below the restaurant and main office. Virtually thousands of miles of snowmobile trails can be accessed from Twin Pines, and NEOC even has its own fleet of groomers, used to maintain 110 miles of local trails. After getting outfitted with a helmet and some warm gloves, guide Ken Gross walked me through the operation of my sled and discussed safety protocol. Then we headed off on a ride that took us along the road leading to Baxter State Park's south entrance.
The system is sort of like the interstate system. It's a broad, general route that will take you from point A to point B. The green stuff are all the club trails.
Okay.
And the club trails are actually where things get really interesting. Some great views. It's all the places that locals like to go to.
Oh, sweet. Like, yeah, the secret spots.
Yeah, kind of.
Where you'll be taking me. So I take it this is Pockwockamus Rock. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay, but you call it what?
Usually just people call it Pock Rock.
Pock Rock. And what's so special about this rock besides it having this amazing painting of a bear on it?
Well, it was painted in the 70s to cover up graffiti.
Oh.
It was a couple who were doing it for many years. I guess they got in trouble for painting the rock though, because even though they were covering graffiti, they were
defacing a glacial erratic, right?
You got it. So I guess they got some sort of special dispensation to do it, and they kept doing it till about 2 or 3 years ago, and they've just recently retired.
Oh, no kidding. So who's going to take over for them?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
If you need a new line of work.
I better go back to art school, I guess, you know. From Pock Rock, riders can enter Baxter State Park and cruise along the tote road that circumnavigates the park, although the road is not groomed. We headed west, however, eventually stopping to take in the view of Mount Katahdin from the A-Ball Bridge, a place I was more familiar with during warmer seasons.
So this is the west branch of the Penobscot River, and this is superb fly fishing. People come from all over just to come here.
Yeah,
it's fly fishing during the summer.
World class. And what's this part of the river called right here? Is this the A-Ball Deadwater?
The A-Ball Deadwater goes upstream from here. There are 2 A-Ball falls. They're long names that I can't remember the name of. One of them's just down here, and another one's further down.
Mm-hmm. And if there wasn't cloud cover, we could see Mount Katahdin right
Absolutely. Yeah, we could see where Thoreau tried to ascend the mountain, but basically this is where he stopped during his travels in the Maine woods.
So he came up the Penobscot, the west branch of the Penobscot. He started in Bangor, and then made his way up here with a Native American guide.
Joseph Addian.
Yeah, and stopped here, and then headed up the mountain.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't make it.
No. He spent the night on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, but he was one of the very first, people of European descent to attempt or to make the climb.
Mm-hmm. I think he was the third one.
The third one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But still, back then, it was pretty rugged territory. It still is.
It still is.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this part of Maine is it's very similar to what Thoreau probably saw.
What I think is really cool, this is just me, you see all the birch around us, and that was really what powered all those trips up and down the Penobscot River. The Native Americans made birch bark canoes, and for the time it was cutting edge technology.
Yeah.
Something very light and portable and durable. You could get over rapids and carry beaver pelts to trade.
This is neat though, seeing this in winter like this. It's, with the ice flows coming down the river. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and imagine everybody who fly fishes this or does whitewater rafting during summer.
Yep, that's right.
Quite
It's
a
a
bit
it's a
different.
busy river, you know,
Yeah.
during the summer months. But it's great to see it in this light.
That's one of the things I like about snowmobiling in general, is you get to see the same things that wouldn't be normally accessible. You get to see them in a different light.
After entering the Dubsconig Lakes Wilderness area south of Aball Bridge, we cruised along more winding trails before turning around and retracing our route to Twin Pines.
So I grew up in Chicago, and as a kid I was real active in Boy Scouts. What I used to do a lot was go to places like Wisconsin to go camping. I was even a camp counselor up there. And Maine really reminds me a lot of Wisconsin, except we've got mountains here. You know, the fun thing about guiding is that you meet all kinds of neat people. And you get to show them all the things that you really like about this area. There's cool things, the forests or the twists and turns that you see in the trails. And that to me is really exciting. I really enjoy sharing what I am passionate about with other people. Living in Northern Maine is different from anywhere else I've lived. It is very remote, and it feels that way. You have this vast sea of forest and trees. And when you come up here on the interstate, I mean, that's what you see. It's 20 miles between exits in many places. And even though it is so far from things, once you're here, there are a lot of things to do. It's a lot of fun to live here. You know, people who come from the city are always looking for ways to unwind. They're looking for peace and tranquility. They find it here. This is a very peaceful place. It's a very mellow place. And I think going out into the woods is a way to just sort of forget about all the troubles and issues that you have back home.
Bombing along on a snow machine is a great way to see a lot of the Maine wilderness in a short amount of time. But my next adventure would be held at a much slower pace. The day after my snowmobile adventure with New England Outdoor Center's Ken Gross, I headed west along the Golden Road to a rendezvous with Mike and Hannah Elliott, who had invited me to join them on a snowshoe hike to a group of cabins on frozen Daicey Pond inside Baxter State Park. The Elliots had made this trek before, but this was new territory for me. We would need to bring all of our supplies, including a sleeping bag and food for several days, which required hauling a pair of sleds along the trail. So this is part of the Appalachian Trail, right? The final leg.
Yep. This will take you, I think, to the hunt.
Goes towards Katahdin Stream, and then boom, you climb the mountain and you're done.
Yep. And you're in the northern terminus of the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, so this is where we started out on the Golden Road here.
So we're halfway there, right?
Sure.
You want to believe that?
You can tell yourself that. So normally in the summer you just drive along the Park Tote Road here, and Daicey's right there, but we are going to walk from here. We're about here right now, and we're going to branch off of the Appalachian Trail and follow the Foss-Knowlton Trail. We're going to go across this lake, and we're going to go across this lake, and then we're going to hit Daicey, and our cabins will be waiting right on the other side.
In order to overnight at Daicey Pond or one of the other camps in Baxter, you first need to make reservations and secure a winter permit through the Baxter State Park website. If you have specific dates in mind, be sure to make your reservations well in advance, especially if you have a particular cabin in mind. Snowshoeing can be quite strenuous, especially if you have to break trail through fresh snow and haul a sled. So pace yourself and bring plenty of water to stay hydrated. Also, it's important to dress in layers and wear moisture-wicking, breathable garments so you don't overheat or become chilled when you stop to rest. Luckily for us, other snowshoers had already packed down the trail after the last snowfall. Still, hauling the sleds, especially on the uphill portions, proved hard work. About an hour into our hike, we came to the first of 3 ponds we would need to cross. The Elliots had been monitoring the temperatures closely over the past few weeks, so they knew the ice was safe enough. However, it's always a good idea to carry a set of ice picks and some rope in case you happen to fall through a weak spot. If in doubt, you can always skirt the edge of the ponds, although it will add time and distance to your route.
We're about halfway in right now. We've done about 3 miles on the trail, and now, if you see the sign there, we're at Knowlton Pond. We're going to start here, cut across the middle, go all the way down to that end. We're going to come out at the canoe landing. In another mile, we'll be at Lost Pond. And after we cross that, it's just 1 more mile to Daicey.
Oh, you make it seem so easy.
It is from here on out.
Okay,
it's easy.
so you promise?
Yeah.
We got that hill behind us.
Yep, that was the hardest part.
At around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we arrived at Daicey Pond, home to 10 rustic wooden cabins. Each cabin is furnished simply with beds and mattresses, a picnic table, and a wood-burning stove. It gives you an idea of what winter life must have been like for Maine frontiersmen of the 1800s. Firewood is stored in a nearby shed, and there are vault toilets. Water can be taken from the pond or the stream that flows past the camp, but it should be boiled or filtered before drinking. Using the cabins as a base, you can make side trips along several trails, including one leading to a set of falls known as Big and Little Niagara. Other than that, there's not a whole lot else to do except relax and enjoy the solitude, silence, and spectacular winter landscape. But for many people, that's more than enough. That evening, cameraman Kevin Erdvig and I had the Elliots over for dinner at our now toasty cabin, where we shared stories and celebrated our successful journey to Daicey Pond over plates of Mike's famous spicy meatballs and bottles of homebrewed ale.
So it's just about adventure. You know, the older I get, the more I just want to reconnect with this place, and I want to experience the natural world as much as I can, and those are the best memories.
What amazes me the most when I come out here is just the simplicity of everyday life. And it's to the point now where when I turn onto that road to Baxter State Park and the pavement goes away, it's like I leave everything behind. I'm in the woods.
You're really getting connected to what it's like to explore. And we, I think as people, we have that need to go out there and find adventure. The same people come back every year and have a new experience. They get to interact with the local folks. They get to find something new to do. But at every point when they come back out, they feel renewed. And that's something that you can really only get when you completely disconnect from the hustle and bustle and slow down and just look around and appreciate what we have here.